What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the More Than Philly Sports Network. It is great to be with all of you today. It is Thursday, the 20th of May in 2021, 5:05 p.m. here on the East Coast. Joined by Gavin Tony here in just a few moments. PGA Championship is well underway. Brooks Koepka currently tied at the top of the leaderboard at 3 under. A tough course indeed. Gavin's favorite, Dustin Johnson, 2 over right now. Not a strong look to start the day. But we'll get over that in a little more detail next week as the tournament comes to an end. Of course, we'll still continue to bring it up. Today, we're going to start off with a couple of exciting things to go over today. A lot to break down in the NBA, including last night's key matchup between the Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, the Memphis Grizzlies, and San Antonio Spurs, closer than a lot of people had thought. And then, of course, tonight, the Eastern Conference's final play-in game for the 8th seed between the Washington Wizards and the Indiana Pacers. But let's start off with it. We're going to start off with the late game last night. I did stay up for it indeed. Did I miss a class today? Quite possibly. Don't tell anybody. I can see Gavin laughing behind the stage, but, not a lot we can do about that. Sports over everything. But in all seriousness, let's talk about it. Nothing really impressed me last night. The only one that was impressive was Steph Curry. He was the only guy who was consistent all night, making threes left and right. Buzzer beater was pretty good. The game last night, it was a brawl. And I don't mean that in a physical bad blood way, but it was not a game that anybody should go home about. I mean, Los Angeles Lakers, Golden State Warriors, big names, but I don't know. The Los Angeles Lakers did not look like a champion last night. And that's hard for me to say because I'm not rooting for the Warriors. I'm not openly rooting for them. I'm sorry, the Lakers. But the Lakers, they just don't look like champions. They don't look like defending champions. Anthony Davis doesn't look like himself. They don't look healthy. And that's a big concern. They're going into a series against a good Suns team, but right now, I'm worried. If you're a Lakers fan, last night doesn't mean a damn thing to you. Does LeBron improve on his legacy? No, it really doesn't. He made a good 3 at the end of the game. It's a take different than what I had before, and I promise you there's no tricks here. But I am trying to stay unbiased. And the truth is, nothing was impressive last night. That game was as unexpected. You have a team in the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, who, by the way, almost got tossed. He had a technical early and continued to run his mouth. But that was not a game that was important. I think right now, Suns, everyone's counting them out already, but they have nothing to worry about. In my opinion, the Suns will actually beat the Los Angeles Lakers. And the reason for that is clear. These guys aren't healthy. If LeBron doesn't do his part, if AD continues to be soft, AD is a very soft player sometimes. And I don't mean that in a very negative way, but it's the truth. Anthony Davis is soft without LeBron. LeBron is so important out there. He might not be the most skilled player on the floor anymore, but at this moment, Anthony Davis is soft without LeBron. Last night when it was just him on the floor without LeBron James and he takes on the pressure, he couldn't do anything. His clutch 3 at the end, that mid-ranger, look who's passing the ball to him. Look who's doing that. Number 23 taking off the pressure. There's a reason he never won anything with the Pelicans. We talked about this a few weeks ago. James Harden, Kyrie Irving when he had his own team. There are certain guys who can't win alone. Anthony Davis is one of those guys. With all that being said, the Lakers are not a scary team right now. I mean, Alex Caruso's who you're counting on. I mean, you lost Rajon Rondo in the offseason. Your big position is so-so. Andre Drummond was a very overrated acquisition, in my opinion. The Los Angeles Lakers have a lot of concerns. But let's talk about the Warriors for a minute. They will also lose in the first round. They will lose to the Utah Jazz, despite Steph Curry's great play. Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, it's not enough. The Warriors need more help around Steph Curry. They need more defense. But last night, let me say this again. The most important player during the Warriors dynasty was and still remains Draymond Green. I understand Draymond Green did not have a lot of points last night, but he's literally everywhere. He does everything but the scoring. He's done a great job for that franchise. He is owed a lot by that franchise. A lot of people, including my co-host, will blame him for Kevin Durant leaving. That might be true. And we know Draymond Green can get himself in trouble sometimes. But he's so vital to that team. And him and Curry alone are good enough to make their team an 8 seed, obviously. But they, too, will lose the first round. Now, here's where things may get bumpy. Because I did just say that the Suns will beat the Lakers. But there's a chance, if the Lakers are able to get healthy, that they're able to come on top in that series. There's no denying, 5-on-5, fully healthy, the Lakers are the better team. But that's the thing. They're not healthy. And when LeBron's not on the floor, Anthony Davis can't get the job done. And with that being said, I will pull in now my co-host Gavin Tony. Some takes I don't usually take on this show, but that's how starstruck I was at last night's game. I didn't send you any glorifying text after the game. I know you were.
Oh, trust me, I did get some though. I
sent a popcorn text halfway through the fourth quarter. Nothing after that, I promise. Because there was nothing impressive in that game. It was a slugfest. Let's call it what it is. The Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry, looked like the best player on the planet last night. I know we debated that before. I still don't think it's true. But LeBron is injured right now. AD clearly cannot get the job done without LeBron on the floor. The record for the regular season shows that. I mean, the Lakers, they have big names, and they were all there last night. But that was way too hard of a win for them. They put way too much effort in. There's no way they can go out and beat another team if they play like this. Sure as hell they can get healthy. My mind can change by game 2 of this series against the Suns. But at this moment, if Phoenix is fully healthy and they're playing their hearts out, there's no way they can lose to this team if LeBron is as banged up as he appears to be.
First of all, Zach, how you doing today? And I'm proud of you. All right, I'm proud of you for one major reason. I thought I was going to come on this show and scream and shout, but after the stuff that you just said, I have a smile on my face, ladies and gentlemen. For right now, I have a smile on my face. And as soon as we get to talk about the Phillies and everybody else, I know that smile is going to go away in a matter of seconds. Zach, the Warriors were 20 turnovers away from winning the game last night. I mean, everything was going right, Zach. We talked about it yesterday. If Steph Curry has one of those games, which he did, where no matter what you do, the three is falling, Zach. I mean, you saw it last night. Ran around, quick second, shot the ball, goes in, pulls with a step back before halftime, over 2 people, goes in. I mean, Zach, you couldn't answer anything. Me as a Curry fan, I'm not as mad as I was last night. Now, Zach, you take into account, I encountered with a couple of LeBron fans last night. You know how I feel about them. I did the worst fan base right behind the Dallas Cowboys, maybe in front of the Dallas Cowboys, depending on how you pick and choose them. Draymond Green, you're right, Zach. Draymond Green is important. And let me emphasize that. The stuff that he does for this team, whether it was being there, setting guys up, making the right passes, setting guys up in the situation to make a pass for somebody else, the little stuff, the stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. But you know what does show up on the stat sheet? 2 points. That does show up. In 41 minutes, you had 2 points. Now, Zach, if Klay Thompson was here, and real quick before I go on my main point, if Klay Thompson was here last night, the Lakers don't stand a chance. We know how much of a marksman Klay Thompson is. We know what Klay Thompson brings to the table, arguably the second greatest shooter right behind his own Splash brother. But Zach, when they both do the same thing, all Draymond Green has to do is just pass, grab rebounds, and facilitate. Was I happy about Draymond Green's technical foul in the first quarter? No. But here's one thing I'm not happy about either. The fact that I saw LeBron James do the same exact thing and not get a technical for it. And so I that's a conversation I'd like to bring up in another day. But going back to last night's game, Zach, in a situation where you win and you get the Suns, you play 41 minutes, you have 2 points, Zach. You need to score. You need someone else to help you. Andrew Wiggins actually showed up and balled, 21 points. Kent Bazemore for the 24 minutes he was there, he dropped 10 points. Jordan Poole had 10 points. Juan Chasco Anderson, Zach, that's a fantastic story, by the way, if you ever get a chance to listen to him.
Native.
And he had 9 points. Outside of that, I mean, nobody else outside of those 4 guys. Those are the guys that only had double-digit points, and Anderson only missed by a point, but I'm going to give him double-digit. Draymond Green, you are the veteran on this team. You've been here longer, just as long as Steph Curry. Steph Curry has a longer tenure, but you've been here just as long. 2 points in a game that matters the most. Zach, this guy went from being a scorer back in 2017. Zach, you know how I feel. LeBron James doesn't do that little cheating move and Draymond Green doesn't get suspended for the game. They would be champions because Draymond Green was killing them that series. You can have it your way. I'll have it mine. Having saw that, Zach, 2 points in a game where you're needed to score the most is just not acceptable. I'm sorry. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I can get 41 minutes. I'm guaranteeing I give you more than 2 points. I know that for sure. I mean, Zach, he did everything else. Rebound, got assist, played great defense on AD. in the first half. Andrew Wiggins played great defense on LeBron for the first 3 quarters of the game. I don't know what the hell happened after that. But Zach, 2 points is not enough. I'll be honest. And turning over the ball, Steph Curry had 6 turnovers. They were making a lot of extra passes that weren't needed. And Andrew Wiggins can't catch the ball. I mean, Zach, I don't know if you remember the play, but Andrew Wiggins is cutting baseline. He has a guy in front of him, but we know Andrew Wiggins takes flight and he just goes of the ball. I don't understand this. That's why the Warriors didn't win last night. Zach, I was mad, but now I think about the bigger picture. The Suns are a fantastic team. The Warriors weren't going to win that series where they went against the Suns, but I think it would have been a little nice matchup. Steph Curry versus Chris Paul. But Chris Paul deserves a lot of recognition. Zach, they go without Chris Paul. They go in the bubble. They go 8-0. They missed the playoffs by a little bit. Zach, we even came on the show and felt that they deserve to be the team in the play and not Damian Lillard. And they go out, they get Chris Paul, they get Jay Crowder, who emphasizes defense, and we know Chris Paul being the greatest leader in the NBA, maybe in all time, depending how you want to go with it. And they get in a second seed. Now you look on paper, you're like, all right, Lakers versus Suns. But Zach, if the Lakers struggle to put away a Steph Curry just team, a Steph Curry and others, versus a LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and a workless Andre Drummond, I mean, Zach, he didn't grab a rebound. That's worthless. You're there for one job, and you can't even do that job to the point.
It's not a very strong matchup having AD, LeBron, and Drummond on the floor at the same time.
That's
I'm gonna look it up. Their plus minus was terrible last night without AD at the
He didn't touch the floor in the fourth quarter. Zach, having saw that, I think the Suns can win in 7 games, 7 or 6 games. The health of LeBron James and the wear and tear on his body is not it. Anthony Davis is not that bad man that we've seen in New Orleans, and Nola, the guy that I fell in love with and deemed him the best big man in basketball.
And Drummond, by the way, -1 last night. LeBron plus 13. Schroeder -20. It's not a good combination. Bringing him in was not the best move for them. They kind of knee-jerked after the Nets got LaMarcus Aldridge.
Something tells me this Lakers and Suns series, as everybody thinks that the LA Lakers are going to be they're writing up the Suns already. I wouldn't write them off, Zach. I really believe in that Suns team. They're number 2 for a reason.
That they are, and they've beaten Utah. They've beaten a lot of teams this year. Look, the Lakers are the more talented team, and I said that when we started the show today. But they're not healthy, and that's going to be the biggest X factor coming up after this. Pacers, Wizards. The winner tonight plays in Philadelphia on Sunday. Also, a special announcement for me on whether or not I'll be at the game on Wednesday, possibly do some live reporting for us when I get there.
I have to go. I'm travel size. I can fit in the backpack.
May have to. And then, of course, finally to wrap up today's show, here's how you fix the unwritten rules in baseball. We have a discussion now about that because the MLB has some problems right now. All of that coming up after this.
We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode.
All right, let's talk about it. Washington Wizards, Indiana Pacers. It's going to be a better game than people think. Both teams are pretty fairly squared up, in my opinion, from coaching to experience to talent. I would edge just a little bit because of how talented their backcourt is. I would give the edge to the Washington Wizards. But Domantas Sabonis had a great series, great run in his past. He's played phenomenal for their team, of course, with Miles Turner and Karis LeVert being out. But you do have Malcolm Brogdon there still. You have TJ McConnell, who's done really well for them. It's going to be a close game. If I'm a Sixers fan, I would much rather play the Indiana Pacers. You don't want to play Russell Westbrook. He's on a tear right now. However, we'll get to that later. Once this game is set and done, we can do predictions for the Sixers series. However, with all that being said, I do think the Washington Wizards do come out on top tonight. Look, the Pacers wanted it more the other night. You saw that. Charlotte slept on their opponent significantly, in my opinion. And you take a look at how LaMelo Ball and all those guys reacted. They're a young team. First time in a playoff-like environment, and they got taken out. Bradley Beal, not really the most veteran experienced guy when it comes to the playoffs, but he's been there. He knows what it's like. And we know that Russell Westbrook is no stranger to the playoffs. He's been there every year since only God knows when. He's been there pretty much his entire career ever since he's been in OKC. So Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Davis Bertans, a whole bunch of other guys there that they have that are good role players. They're not a great team. Again, they were a horrible team defensively this year. They just barely squeaked into the 8th seed. However, they are better than Indiana. I think they come out on top tonight. Indiana can turn heads. It's going to be a close game, but at the end of the day, I do have Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, and the Wizards winning this game, taking the 8th seed, and going up against the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round.
It depends on Karis LeVert if he's playing today, Zach.
I don't think he is.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I sat here on, I want to say, Tuesday and said that, well, no Karis LeVert, there's going to be no problem for the Hornets. Zach, I was wrong. I was 0 for 2, actually, on playing tournaments on Tuesday, so that's not too good. Tonight's game, listen, if you're the Philadelphia 76ers, you got to look at it from two ways. Domantas Sabonis is a center. He's not the best center, but they can play defense on Joel Embiid with him and Miles Turner. I'm not too sure if they're going to be able to stop the big man, but whatever they were doing against the Hornets the other night, dropped 144. I mean, it's like every other playing game has been close. No blowouts. And when you got a guy like Malcolm Brogdon, who people forget he was the Rookie of the Year, it's like not everybody remembers that, but he was. And you have a guy in a lot of veteran players, and T.J. McConnell, who provides a spark off the bench. Well, we know what he does. You can't. If you're the Sixers, you don't want to see that. I think the Wizards are going to win tonight. Zach, Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal did not bring the energy versus Boston. I think they bring it tonight versus Indiana. They know it's a winner-go-home situation. Winner gets Philly. Zach, and if you're a Sixers fan, remember, Bradley Beal dropped 64 points. Didn't beat you. Russell Westbrook had a triple-double. Didn't beat you. Joel Embiid goes down in that game, and they still didn't beat you. Zach, they don't have a center either. I mean, there's no Thomas Bryant, and whoever else they have is not compared. I'd rather take the Wizards versus the Sixers. So I think Wizards are going to win tonight, and my score is going to be 110 to 105.
I'll go similar on that category, like 115 to 108. I think that the Wizards pull away in the last minute or two. Yeah, like you said, Bradley Beal can put up a lot of points. Doesn't mean they're going to win. He did it last year. This is a below 500 team we're talking about. These aren't good basketball teams. Just because they have two big names doesn't make them a good basketball team. Going with the Wizards tonight, we would see them play the Sixers coming up. With that being said, that's just the reality of the situation. Again, big names doesn't necessarily yield big results. And that's one thing that we all have to be understanding of when looking at these teams. Because you can get scared of these teams. The Pacers have not been a team of big names in the past few years. They had Victor Oladipo. We know how that all unraveled with him. Doesn't mean much. This is the 5 seed last year. They lost to Miami. And unfortunately for them, they got bounced early last year, and they've fallen off this year. From what we talked about, it looks like that the head coach is on his way out after his first season. It's going to be an interesting ride for them, but I do think that the Wizards do take tonight. With that being said, coming up after this, if you thought the NBA was solved, the MLB has just one-upped them.
Oh, we got Zach real quick.
We talked briefly about this yesterday, but we have a big conversation to have after this.
Before you go to break, Zach, real quick, we should change the title from "How You Fix Baseball" to "What Everything's Wrong with Baseball." But go ahead.
Stay tuned.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
Let's break it down. What unwritten rule are we talking about? Being down 3-0, especially with bases loaded, if the team is up by a substantial amount of runs, you don't swing the bat. The rookie, I forget his name, for the Chicago White Sox, scored the hottest.
Yermin Mercedes.
He got the take sign, swung, hit a grand slam. Similar situation happened in last year with
Fernando Tatis.
With Fernando Tatis. And baseball is really starting to frustrate me because there's a lot of soft players. There's a lot of soft managers there's a lot of soft people in general. And I hate using that word. I think it can get insulting, but that's the only way we can describe a lot of these situations. If you don't want them to swing at a 3-0 pitch, don't give them a ball that they can put over the fence. It's that simple. However, I do have a better way to fix the unwritten rules. After 7 innings, the team that is down has an opportunity to concede the ball game. If you're down by enough and you lose faith in your offense, you can concede the game, not waste pitchers, and avoid situations like this from really blowing up. That's my first problem. My second one is with the White Sox manager. Not only did he come out in his press conference after the game and talk about the mistake that his player had made, he doubled down on it the following day and took the side of the opposing team. You don't do that. You stand by your players. I think his first comment was fine. He's young. He doesn't know any better. He's going to learn from this. But the next day to blatantly attack his player is wrong. I think it's going to cause rifts in that locker room. And this is the best team in baseball we're talking about. This is the Chicago White Sox. This is the South Side of Chicago we're talking about. All right? This is a situation with this team, a historic franchise, best team in baseball right now, and they're starting to have some drama. It's not even that first conversation. It's the fact that the manager doubled down on it. It's the fact that because they're a great team, they're going to be under the spotlight. And not only that, but everyone has an opinion on this. Some people are saying, oh, yeah, he should not swing at that pitch. All right, whatever. It's an unwritten rule. Get over it. Don't throw a ball down the middle. It's that simple. You want to know why baseball is losing fans? Because of stuff like this. All right, analytics has ruined the game in a way. You're using 30 pitchers a game. You're using 5 every inning. The games take forever. All right, they're trying to make changes to it. They're trying to help move it forward. It doesn't work. All right, this is getting worse and worse every single year. They're complaining about the no-hitters now. I'm like, get out of here. I forget
I got to take on that.
Who I read today saying, or Clayton Kershaw said all these no-hitters aren't fun.
I got to take on that.
Shut up. Like, we all want to watch offense, but the players need to know where they're keep their mouths where they need to. And I hate to use this because it has a lot of history to it, the shut up and dribble comment. When it comes to social justice, when it comes to those issues, it's fine. When it comes to a thing like this, you got to stay in your lane. Blake Snell, you should know better. Clayton Kershaw, especially, you should know better. Trevor Bauer's been pretty funny on his comments. While I agree with his take on in this case, he should know better to stay in his lane. Everybody needs to know better and stay in their lane. Baseball, out of all sports, has the most chatty players who are too comfortable in their situations, and it's only going to cause issues and hurt the sport down the road.
Well, hold on, Zach. I got to take on the no-hitter situation. Listen, I just find it funny how baseball every year changes the baseball itself. Whatever they did to it this year, I mean, we're seeing an all-time league low, and it's going to get worse than average. I think the average is around 236 right now. That's a league average.
The team are 199.
Exactly. Now, that means also home runs are down. And for a guy like me who likes offense, like I mean, I like offense, and I think what really makes good pitchers better is how good they are. Right now, the pitchers are hiding behind a juice ball that's in their favor. The one year where pitchers were being blasted left and right, literally Zach, left and right field, they were being blasted. We really saw who the really great pitchers are. The Trevor Bauers, the Sonny Grays, the Jacob deGroms, the Aaron Nola's at times. Do I have to keep going on? Chris Sale, Verlander, all those guys. We saw who they were. Now the problem is we're getting average to bums getting no hitters. Who is the dude that just got a no hitter on Detroit, Zach? What was his name? What was his name?
Remember.
Exactly, that's my point. And they're doing no hitters versus teams that aren't good. Like yesterday, no disrespect to Corey Kluber, Zach. His story is amazing. Former Cy Young winner, a lot of injuries, got traded off Cleveland, goes to Texas, didn't work out there, got hurt, goes to Yankees, and then on bobblehead night, his own bobblehead night in Texas, he gets a home. He gives them a no hitter piece. Having said that, Zach, I think it's not the great. It's bad for baseball. I mean, no hitters are one of those things that you're supposed to come by maybe once a month, maybe every once in a while. But Zach, we had 2 no hitters this past week, one yesterday and one on Tuesday. I mean, Zach, come on. And then we had a no hitter last week by a dude in Baltimore. Who is that guy? I don't know. I mean, it's not like Jacob deGrom's coming here throwing no hitters. It's not like Trevor Bauer. If those guys are doing, I'm like, oh, that's bad. Like they're dominating the game. Average to below average pitchers are having success on this new juice ball, and it's killing the game of baseball, in my opinion. Now, another thing you could look at too, and I'm gonna tackle the main topic in the point. Another thing you could look at too is the marketing. Zach, we talk about how baseball is a dying sport. Did you know that Shohei Ohtani is having the statistically the best year ever since Babe Ruth, both hitting and pitching. He leads the league in home runs, which is either 14 or 15. He leads the league in ERA, which is a whopping below 2. But yet we don't see him on national television. Not everybody knew about Shohei Ohtani. You know why, Zach?
The Angels haven't had the best year so far.
The Angels haven't had the best year so far. That's true. But Zach, they're not televised. You got to get the guys that are going to make you money televised. No one want to watch the Cleveland Indians take on the Miami Marlins on Sunday Night Baseball. No one wants to watch that. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, that did not happen, but I'm just trying to give an inference. If Ohtani's the hottest player in baseball, put him on national television more. Zach, I looked it up on Fox on their schedule. Just I want to see when the next Angels live game, like nationally televised game is. Zach, the next nationally televised game, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, is July 31st, and that's on Fox. Zach, it's May 20 something. It's May 20th to be exact. So you gotta hope Ohtani's still having that year, but it's like no one cares because baseball is a dying sport. Now it's like back to the original topic. You don't do that, Tony La Russa. Now it's like for those who may or may not know, Tony La Russa was in some trouble earlier in this offseason with I want to say a DUI situation, and they were going to fire him, but the players stuck up for him. Emphasize that for a second. The players stuck up for him. Yeah, you can go out and say, Yerman, you shouldn't have done that, right? He'll learn. But then to go take the other team's side. You didn't take your player's side the next day. You took the other team's side. Zach, why are you should be fired on the spot? You should be fired on the spot. And some players didn't like it. Some players didn't care. Zach, that's going to cause a problem. You're arguing the best team in baseball, and they're having a problem in the rift. Now, Zach, I agree with you. If the game gets out of hand, don't concede. Concede this is the 7th inning. The game considers over. If you're down 15-1 in the 7th inning, just concede by already. Save us some time and save instances like this. A comment from Trevor Bauer said this: "Dear hitters, if you hit a 3-0 home run off me, I will not consider it a crime. There are people who are still mad about a hitter hitting, kindly get out of the game. Can't believe we're still talking about 3-0 swings. If you don't like it, managers or pitchers just be better." Zach, I agree, and especially with the last inning. Just be better. Zach, the last time I checked, when did athletes care unless when they're injured? When did athletes and other teams care about how the other teams are feeling? I mean,
we never have in history up until recent years.
I mean, Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons didn't care when Jordan finally beat them. They walked off the court. The Boston Celtics, except for Kevin McHale, didn't care when they walked off the court to them. Zach, let's go back to Tuesday. Do you think the Pacers like, guys, 144, you think we should stop scoring? I mean, you think they're down by like 20, 25 points? No! If you're soft, don't play. And Zach, you don't like to use the word soft? I do, because they are soft. Baseball is a bunch of divas, and they're soft. And if you don't like the unwritten rules, guess what? They're stupid. It's like, if you're going to bring a positional pitcher out in a game that's almost over, what am I supposed to do? Mess my average up, add another strikeout up? What, take a walk? If I get a chance to swing at a garbage pitch that your person threw, you best believe, Zach, I'm ripping it.
Especially when you get paid based off your performance, too. And he's a rookie. He's got a contract.
Go ahead. And the man's only a rookie. And Zach, he's going to be a bright star in this league and from years to come. Mark my words. But the fact that your own manager turned against you, he should be fired on the spot today.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting situation. The rule something should stay in the locker room. That's one of them. And you hate to see it, unfortunately. But
credit Joe Girardi. He kept whatever
was Segura in the locker room. He started him the next night. The Phillies are going to play in a little bit here against Miami, looking to win the series tonight. Disappointing loss last night for them. But other than that, again, PGA Championship continues to be underway. A lot of other big news in the sports world, of course. The Philadelphia Eagles officially signing Ryan Kerrigan to the contract. We spoke about that yesterday. And then on Sunday, Sixers, and to be determined, playing in round 1, and I will most likely be making an appearance on Wednesday at the Wells Fargo Center for the first time since March of 2020, before the entire world was shut down when I was at that Flyers game. Will be the first Sixers game of the year. Gavin, we are overdue to go to one. Maybe one of our good friends that we've had on the show before can help us out with that. Hey, we don't know. Anything's possible. But in all seriousness, stay tuned for some festivities around the weekend surrounding that. We'll be back tomorrow to break down some more sports. But there's a lot going on. A lot continues going on here in the sports world. A year ago when we started off this show, there were no sports on. Now we're rolling with it. Now we're riding with it. Second MLB season, second NBA season, and we're going to be in our second NBA playoffs to break it all down here live on the More Than Philly Sports Network, whether through Facebook or YouTube, based on wherever you watch.
No doubt, excuse me. No doubt, Zach. Listen, I'm excited. For those who may or may not know, it's going to be a good one. I mean, look, we're going to bring the fire. We're going to get into arguments, especially with the playoffs. The Phillies are going to continue to be disappointing, Zach. Don't make me go into my little monologue about that like I did earlier today for you. I'll break it down another day. But just stick with us. It's going to be fun, and there's going to be big news hopefully coming pretty soon at the beginning of next year. But, Zach, before we go, I do got some news for you. In last year's WNBA Finals, it was the Las Vegas Aces versus the Storm. The Storm winning, Breanna Stewart. Well, last night, they just played each other back-to-back on Saturday and Tuesday, and they split the series. Aces win last night, 96-80, and the Storm won on Saturday, 97-83. Zach, for those who may not know, I've been getting more into the WNBA and women's college basketball a little bit more, so I've been finding out these rivalries, and Zach, that's a good one. A'ja Wilson versus Breanna Stewart. I'm excited to watch that go on for a couple more years to come, and especially for the rest of the year.
That is true, as the WNBA just kicked off their season last week. With that being said, again, everybody, thank you so much for watching today. We hope you enjoyed today's content. Have a great one, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Have a good one, everybody.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.